Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Okay, okay. I had to change everything back over to regular stream stuff from having everything set up for the holidays. I hope you all are doing well. Hopefully you can hear me and see me. How is everyone doing? Is that +1? What is that? Oh, okay. It wants me to it's advertising. I can have a members only live stream, which why would I switch it to that? That's weird. Oh no, hot water. Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, let me make sure I have everything all connected here. Everything looks good. Excellent, excellent. Can hear you well. Awesome, great. I have not had the stream set up for a minute. We have the Bandita who is being extra snoozy on her little pillow today. I feel like I have something I had oatmeal earlier, and I feel like I have some of it in my tea still. It's bugging me. I don't know if I got it out. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Hi everyone. Hello. My name is Evie Lupine, and here on the channel on Fridays, we hang out and we do a little interactive Q&A. We usually talk about general adult subjects, so things like sex, kink, BDSM, polyamory, dating, queer issues, pop culture stuff. Now, obviously, not all of that is strictly adult, but a lot of it is. So one of the big rules here, if you want to participate in the live stream, is that you need to be at least 18, as it says right up there, and also read the rules down below, because I am not in any way authorized to talk to you, if you are a minor, about any of these topics. I don't want to risk it. I don't want to go there. Please seek advice from an actual professional, because I am not a doctor. I am not a child psychologist. I am not any of those things in general, nor for you specifically. So please be at least 18 if you're going to participate in the chat. In general, please also as well read the rules down below, because we do have a pretty extensive Q&A. The rules here are really simple. You just want to be respectful, listen to me and the mods, and don't spam the chat. So don't ask the same question 10 times in a row, because this is not I don't have 50,000 concurrent viewers. And thank you so much, Sean, for the stream gifts at the start of the stream. Oh no, Twixie's edibles hit. Well, that will make things interesting. I do wonder what it would be like to have an edible and then try to stream as a streamer. And the thought of that is terrifying. I would need supervision. I think I would need someone with me to make sure that I shut everything off correctly, because I would be really worried about not turning everything off correctly in that kind of state and then just leaving my camera running all night long without realizing it. But to wrap up what we were talking about, again, please read the rules below. They're really simple. Just don't spam the chat. If you ask a question 20 times in a row, I'm not going to get to it. But we do have some great examples right now of super chats going by. Generally speaking, I go and answer questions in the order of the chat. I don't typically, and by don't typically, I mean 99% of the time, I do not get to every single question. If you want to make sure I get to your question, the best way to do that is to use a super chat, as we are seeing on the screen below. It'll highlight your question as you are seeing, and depending on how big your donation is, I think I've sort of figured out with YouTube, the way that YouTube donations work specifically, I don't know about other platforms, is seemingly the more money you donate, the longer the text stays on screen, and the longer it stays highlighted. So if you want to make sure I see it, you can use a donation. You don't have to. Just otherwise, the fairest way of doing it is just in the order that the questions come in. So that's kind of a way of making sure I get to it, because YouTube does not always do a great job of keeping track of everybody's questions. We also have a feature where we have a special question-only section. It is a white bar highlighted at the top of the chat. It says, put your questions here. If you use that feature, it'll put your question in like sort of a special separate box. And then that way, one, I know you're asking a question because it's in there. And two, it helps preserve it in the chat. So if for some reason, like the stream gets disconnected, knock on wood, or like you have to leave the stream or something, it's in like a special safe question box to preserve it. And again, thank you all so much for the super chats. Thank you to Sean for the beginning of the stream memberships. We do have memberships here on YouTube. That is basically just because it's the only way for me to get access to emotes on YouTube. So if you become a member, you not only contribute to us unlocking additional emotes, but you also get to benefit from the beautiful emotes that we already have, including of me and my wonderful dog. We have several of them. We have ones of me and my side, I was gonna say side, what was sidecar? That doesn't make sense. That's actually a drink, isn't it? A sidecar? No, my sidekick, my water bottle, and my dog, and our beautiful, wonderful bagel, and other such cute and amazing things. But there you go. That is that on that. We had a super chat from Spencer that said, Happy New Year. When I was in preschool, a girl would chase me around the playground threatening to hold me down and kiss me. Now I'm here. Coincidence? I mean, did you like it? I mean, honestly, like, I might say it's a coincidence, but brains are really weird. So, one of my favorite books about human sexuality that I have a new copy of, that I've been meaning to reread for a very long time. It is called The Erotic Mind by Jack Moran. As you can see, this is a very well-loved older copy. This is certainly not the be-all end-all. I'm definitely a draw from multiple sources and perspectives kind of person. But one of the things that they talk about in this book is the idea that kinks can come from the brain attempting to eroticize things that are like uncomfortable to hold in our heads, and that especially happens when we're younger, when we're one, first forming our sexual identity, and then two, we don't have the full emotional skills of adults to be able to cope with things more readily. And so it's more likely that some things might end up kind of being in your brain fast track and then become like eroticized later on in life. And so if you didn't like it and it was traumatizing, that might explain why. But if you did like it, there is a psychological term for this as well, but I don't know what the word for it is. It's like, I think it's like mere exposure. It has something with like mere exposure in it. I'm fairly confident. But there's another idea that sometimes for some reason our brains just have this one single mere exposure to an idea, a behavior, an activity, and for whatever reason our brains are like, that's gonna be the thing, we're gonna just grab onto that. And even if the context wasn't sexual, even if we didn't have any conscious like sexual feelings towards anything, our brains might just grab onto that and decide like, that seems really novel and interesting, how about we make that like our thing? And sometimes it does. And there's also like, there's multiple other theories for why kinks and fetishes can happen. Those are just like some proposed pathways, and it's not one or the other. It's not like one of those explains like all of why every human on Earth feels the way they do about certain things, but those are some of the reasons why. So it could be a coincidence because that is a fairly common playground activity, but it might not be. And we don't know is the fun part. Definitely starts young, but I found some of mine also became more present during puberty. Yeah, that definitely happens, yeah. Because it's like brains are weird. Like, again, just if there's any little phrase you want to associate with this, it's definitely that brains are weird, and that's why I think it's important to have. I think there's a tendency, even online in kink spaces and in queer spaces and just general spaces on the internet, even if they're more progressive, there's a tendency to sort of like act like you have like the ick towards people's interests, or to be disgusted by what people are into, like, oh my god, how could anyone be into vor, right? Like, that's so fucking weird. Like, isn't that so disgusting? And for the most part, people can't help what things they're into. Like, there is a percentage of it that can be trained behavioral response from like actively selecting certain types of media on the internet, right? But a lot of times it's something that we got exposed to at a young age that we might not even remember being exposed to it, and our brains grabbed onto it and we don't really know why, and we can't really help but be into the things that we're into. And we have to be careful about separating bad behavior from the interest itself. Like, I don't know if I'm infamous for this, but in my own head, I am infamous for talking about feet, guys. And there are a lot of uncomfortable behaviors that some people who are into feet will do, where they don't seem to understand boundaries at all, whether that's like sliding into people's DMs to ask for like innocent feet pictures, or acting creepy at the Foot Locker, or like taking pictures of like their relatives' feet and like keeping them in like a gallery on their phone. Like, just weird, oftentimes like not pro-social behavior. But it's not because they have a kink or a fetish they act that way. It's not like something that when you're into feet, your brain just like goes haywire. One, it's because people are very commonly into feet. It's like probably the most common fetish that there is. But also because our culture doesn't have a good way of talking about human sexuality or boundaries in general, and the little bit of it that we do have is like pretty much only centered on very stereotypical heterosexual interactions. So if anything's in any way deviant, people don't know how to cope with that, and they don't behave well. So please be kind to people. You never know what folks are going to be into. It might not be your thing, and that's okay. You don't have to do it. You don't have to interact with that. But just be careful about using like judgy language about people's interests, because you never know what people's background is, and you might think you know someone really well. Like, I've definitely been around folks, like I didn't even get stories from you all, like in questions and just general things that people share with me and comments and the like, that people will say like, you know, I am secretly really into ABDL and I've always wanted to try it, but I've never gotten the opportunity to, because you know, I've just started in the kink community, and I have this like one really small group of friends, and the last time we were at a munch, they like made fun of ABDLs and thought they were like really disgusting. So now I don't think I can ever come out as that being something I'm into, because like, look how judgmental they are. So gotta be careful about the judgmentalness, because you might think you know who you're talking to, but you might not, because people are into different stuff. I'll say, as a woman into feet on both sides of the kink, the men of the community are very consent-iffy, yes. And it's, again, it's not I don't think it's the feet thing. It's very much a like, ooh, like heterosexual men are bad at consent in modern America? Who would have guessed? Like, it's like they're bad at it because no one's ever sat them down and taught them what to do, and because they're already isolated because of their interests, most of them are not in the kink community, most of them are not telling other people about what they're into, and so they kind of justify it in their heads that it's okay to do what they're doing because it's just feet, and because other people don't perceive it sexually the way that they do, they can lie to people, exploit people, steal images, do this and the other to get their rocks off, and it's like fine, and it's not actually
Any
fine,
advice
but
on staying motivated and
like,
connected to the kink community
there's not something
when things
tied
are
genetically
really
between
not
like,
working out in the shorter
feet
term.
and like consent violation tendencies. Like, it's a socio-cultural thing. Interesting. I grew up bigger and got yelled at a lot, which to my strength and not hurt people by accident. Fast forward to finding kinky sadism being one of my biggest kinks kind of makes sense. I mean, I've seen that on like both sides of that spectrum. Like, I definitely know people that grew up who were like very tall, very strong, you know, did a lot of sports, or were just like bigger people in general. And they internalize that as like, I need to be really small and not take up space. And they have absolutely taken that in the direction of like, well, I want to be dominant and I want to be a sadist, and like I am aware of my own capacity in my body, but I still want to be in that role. And I'm also taken into, like, I just want to be submissive, I want to be taken care of, and, like, you know, they cry at the idea of somebody treating them as, like, the little spoon, because they think, well, because I'm, you know, 6'5" and 250 pounds, like, I can never be the little spoon, right? And I just want to be, I don't want to have somebody take care of me, I want to be little, I want to have somebody be my caretaker, and it goes that direction. Or I also know people where they were, like, smaller than average and they got bullied a lot in school, and people, like, made fun of them or picked on them because of their size, and that actually turned into them wanting to be in the role of the people who once bullied them, and, like, taking the power back through, like, playing the role of the perpetrator, or, like, the bully or something. So again, brain's really interesting to do lots of different cool stuff. And diversity is the key. Yes. Oh, did I miss a dono when I was rambling? Let me check. I know I saw Twixies. Did I don't know if did I miss one? It might have been, if I missed, I see that there's something for the Bendita Treat Fund. Thank you for that so much. I think maybe I missed that. I'm very sorry. If I missed it, it was associated with that, please put it in the chat again and I will get to it. I'm very sorry. Tiny sadistic women are so awesome. Yeah, thanks. it's me. I'm the tiny sadistic woman. What did I talked about something with I did a road trip with, the why I've been gone is I was on a road trip with, like, one of my partners, and we went, like, up into the West Coast for the holidays, like right after Christmas until after New Year's. It was a lot of fun. And I made some joke, and I cannot remember what it was, of, like, doing something to somebody, and they were like, oh my god, I'm so glad that, like, you're not my top. And I wish I remembered what it was, because it was, like, a real zinger. It was a real zinger. I've had some, like, good ideas recently too. I'll mention it if it comes back to me, but also, you can, one of the fun things you can do in this live stream that I would encourage you all to do, because it's my favorite kind of question to answer, is give me a scenario or a thing that you're into, or a problem you're having with a partner, and then ask me how to turn that into a scene, and I will figure out how to make that into a scene. I'm over 6 foot and muscular, even though I'm nice to everybody, I intimidate people at times. Oh yeah, like, that's a big one too, is people just, like, perceive you as being intimidating. It's like, actually, I'm a really big softie and I'm silly, and, like, please be nice to me, I promise I'm not mean. And then the flip side of that, right, is, like, smaller people, like, never being taken seriously and never being read as a threat or angry, even when they're, like, literally about to fly off the handle. So it's almost like stereotypes are, like, bad and limiting, and, like, reduce your ability to connect fully with other human beings. I don't know. Seems weird. Seems bad. Yeah. Mere exposure effect, also known as the familiarity principle. The feet thing is due to feet being so easily cross-wired to genitals while the brain's still forming. That is, okay, I will be very clear with that. That is one of the theories for why it is so common to have a body part fetish for feet specifically, and it's because, for some strange reason, I think it's in the corpus callosum, it might be a different part of the brain, it might be the brainstem actually, but essentially the part of the brain that deals with sensory information for the genitals is next to the information for the feet, and so they can kind of get cross-wired that way. That is definitely one of the explanations for foot fetishes. That does not necessarily explain all foot fetishes, and certainly doesn't work for, like, basically any other fetish. That one's, like, very, very particular to that. I don't know if we have the brain scanning technology, like if we did a survey of, like, 10 people that are self-identified foot fetishists, if we put them all on a brain scanner, would they all have overlap there, or, like, quote unquote, like, cross wiring. I don't know. I also know people that like used to have a foot fetish, and then they, like, don't anymore. Like, at one point in their, like, teen years and, like, early 20s, they were, like, super into feet. It was the only thing they got off to. It was, like, their favorite thing. And then they, like, as they got more into the kink community and had exposure to other things sexually, they, like, taught themselves how to get off to other things. So If it was a really pure wiring thing, I think that might be like a little bit more difficult to explain away. But I don't know, foot stuff. It's a thing. I should title that should be the title of this live stream. Should be foot stuff. It's a thing, and that'll that'll really draw people in. There will that and the tickle fetishists and the foot fetishists. They are out there. A book by R.A. Wilson talked about things that are learned versus things that are genetic versus things that are imprinted at some point on your brain's development. Some things aren't learned or genes. Oh, yeah. I don't think I read that book, but that sounds like essentially what I've gathered from reading multiple different sources and kind of being like, well, they all sound like they're kind of right, and we don't have any definitive studies, so they're probably all at least a little bit right sometimes. I'm 3D printing hooves for a friend's cosplay, and holy was it awkward asking for her to draw around her feet. That's really funny. But also making 3D printed hooves for a cosplay sounds like really fun, and I do love, even though I am not a pony, I'm a former horse girl, but not a pony player. I know, very rare. The idea of having 3D printed hooves and like hoof boots, I'd make like a Ren Fair outfit for that. I don't know if I'd do it in a kink context because I wouldn't want to confuse people and like have stolen pony valor. But I love the idea of like hoof boots for some kind of like witchy Ren Fair type outfit would be cute. Stream hitting over 9,000 concurrents. What's foot fetishes in the title? Well, the thing is I definitely can't put fetish in the title. That's like one of the big YouTube no-nos. For some reason, specifically, I have yet to come across a word that is as hated by the YouTube algorithm as the word fetish. Like, I have mentioned like sexual assault. I have talked about all kinds of terrible types of assault, bodily violations, general harm, and suicide and stuff even to a certain extent. And no single word I have ever put either in a video verbally or in a thumbnail, in a title, no other word has ever gotten the like hammer put down against my videos as much as the word fetish, and I don't know why. I guess maybe because YouTube is used to 99% of uploaded content related to the word fetish being like just actual pornography, so they're not accounting for educational videos when somebody labels it with the word fetish. They think, oh, that's just that's definitely spam, just like slot that over there. And it's like, no, actually this is like an educational video about like why fetishes happen, and this is actually like kind of important because people don't get taught about this stuff in school, and like maybe it will help them understand themselves or a loved one better. But heaven forbid we do that, right? Oh yeah, no worries. The problem of a YouTube live stream not always facilitating the most nuanced version of a conversation is very much a thing. So, not to worry about that at all. Yeah, I have to say fettuccine rather than fetish. That's exactly why. That is, in case you ever wondered why she say the word fettuccine. If you ever hear me say the word fettuccine in a video, because I don't think I will ever say it in a different context unless I'm quoting something. If you hear me say the word fettuccine, it's because I'm not saying the word fetish. So that's why. I think I have some other like pasta related words I've decided to use as well for other things, but the fettuccine's the big one. I say prawn instead of porn, depending on the video. It depends on the context. Sometimes I'm just like, fuck it, this whole video is gonna get demonetized anyways. I'm just gonna say porn. But if I'm pretty sure the video is gonna get monetized anyways, like I won't say it. But it depends on the context. Maybe he's spelled it feet-ish. Well, then like, what would the point of it being in the title of the video? Like, who's gonna be looking for that? It just doesn't serve any purpose. Oh, she's doing a fawn costume for a Ren Fair? It's not a kink thing. I mean, that's what I assumed. Not a kink thing. But I also just wanted to talk about pony play because I think that kind of thing's fun. And like, pony boots are really expensive, but I do know lots of people who do that for just like regular cosplay stuff. I've seen plenty of like, I feel like mostly deer stuff actually. Like deer and fawn stuff more than pony stuff, absolutely. Fettuccine is a pretty solid safe word. I would agree. Yeah. Were you into MLP? Oh, My Little Pony. I was not ever into the original okay. I was not into the modern, like, one would that have been like 2015, like My Little Pony show. Never watched that, was never into it, was never a brony, not part of the like My Little Pony fandom. When I was a little girl, when I was like 5, 6, 7, I definitely had like My Little Pony ponies, but I wasn't, that was like, I was also like a kid, like a weird time for like My Little Pony merchandise, I think. Like there wasn't media around it on television. It was sold in toy stores, but like there wasn't like a tie-in TV show I remember watching. So I was like into it because I just generally played with anything that was a horse toy. But I was more of a Briar horse girl. I liked the bigger, like more realistic horse figurines. That's what I like to play with. Fettuccine is used in place of fetish, just as ravioli is used in place of give me the formioli. Oh, I did quote that. I made ravioli, like probably I think after Christmas, when one of my friends was over, and I like started saying like ravioli, give me the formioli, and they were like, what? And I was like, oh, you don't know that? I had to explain that it was from SpongeBob. One of those generational differences, you know. No, the fettuccine. We're not troubleshooting. What word we're using instead of fetish? We've committed to fettuccine. I've been saying it as fettuccine for a couple years. We can't switch it up. It's gonna confuse people if we change it. But I agree, we could say fetch. But fetch isn't gonna happen, so unfortunately not. Alright. To my shame, I was a fan of My Little Pony. Friendship is Magic. Oh, that's what it was called. Friendship is Magic. See, that's how much I know. In college as well. I mean, nothing wrong with liking it. I mean, from all accounts, the show was wholesome. The fandom... Well, I mean, I saw stuff on Tumblr. I saw things that I did not want to see. Especially even things... I remember like looking up stuff for like pony play. And my God... If you search like pony play BDSM or like pony play kink or something, at least at the time on Google image search results, the My Little Pony fandom adult content was out there. It was definitely out there. Hard to resist the topic. Somebody was talking about foot parmesan recently. I don't even want to know. Don't tell me about the foot parmesan. I'm fine not knowing what the fuck that means. I love Twilight and the Great and Powerful Trixie, and in Sapphire Shores is how you get my online name. Oh, okay. The unlocked Twixie lore. I do remember I had a roommate who did watch the My Little Pony show. And so I had like I know the characters, and I liked both Rarity and Fluttershy. I mean, really, they were all cute, so like, what's the difference? I didn't watch it enough to really get a sense, but I did like, I think Rarity and Fluttershy were my two favorites. Did you watch My Little Pony Friendship is Witchcraft? No, I don't know what that is. Long ago, the four nations lived in harmony. Super Hulaks, bronies, homestucks, but everything changed. I don't know, what is this? Danganronpa Nation attacked. I don't know what that is. But yes, Super Hulak. I was not a Super Hulakian, but I do know that they're called Super Hulakians, so that's maybe that's my personal stain. Because I was on Tumblr at that period of time, so I was exposed to it. I was really just, I like Sherlock, that was it. But no, I don't anymore because I grew up and I watched better television programs. Alright. Where could purchase? I don't know what that's in reference to. I'm sorry to say. I'm not sure. How am I? I'm pretty good. I feel rested. It was sunny outside today, so that was really nice. I feel like I'm finally getting back into like the groove of like normal stuff after being gone from like holiday stuff and traveling, and like I'm doing a little bit more of that here soon. But I'm like very ready to like not be traveling for like a little while. I think when we get to March, I'm gonna say March is gonna be like a no travel month. March is gonna be me at home, doing my own thing, not traveling, and leave it at that. I am ready to be a homebody again. Please do not make me leave my house. It's too much. I had to cut off my nails, and that made me sad because I had a break in one of my fingernails, and you know, here we go. We're back to just short nails, which is really nice for typing, but not fun for other stuff. But otherwise, pretty good. Otherwise, pretty good. First week of 2026 is rough for me, so I'm high as fuck right now. Listen, do what you gotta do. It's fine. No judgment for me. What's the best way to punish a naughty girl? I'm sorry. I don't... Is that a serious question, or... Okay. I'm going to give this question a serious answer. Because you never know. And maybe they need to hear this. And maybe I am the delivery vehicle for this wisdom, and it needs to be said. So, how do you punish a naughty girl? One, I have a video where I've talked about this. So if you want to like learn about punishment techniques, you should go watch it. Two, generally, you cannot make any definitive statements about what types of punishments are best for like a category of people or player in the kink scene, whether that's a girl, a boy, a little, a pet, a brat, or whatever, because every individual human brain is different. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different things that we are motivated by, disgusted by, turned off by, so on and so forth. So in general, the rule of thumb is for the best punishment, if you want to punish somebody, one, do it with consent, most important, right? We don't wantonly punish people without talking about it first. In order to properly punish someone, they have to know ahead of time that their behavior is going to result in a punishment. You can't just decide after the fact, oh, well, now suddenly we have a punishment dynamic. So one, consent, right? Paramount. Maybe that would be step zero. Let's say step zero is punishment. But step one is you have to tailor it to the specific person you're going to be playing with. So you have to understand them, what they don't like, what they're motivated by, what they would want to avoid. So are they somebody who gets really easily embarrassed? Do they care a lot about their physical appearance or their public image? Do they not care about that at all? Do they care about their intellect? Do they care about like their free time? Do they, you know, like having little sweet treats, right? If I'm trying to punish somebody who is already like, you know, really into health and fitness, they never have sugar, they, you know, have a salad every day for lunch, you know, the most sugar they ever have is like yogurt that they have like during the week before work. Like if I were to punish that person by telling them, you know, no sweets, they're gonna be like, does that mean like no raisins on like my tuna fish? Like what are we talking about? Like they're not gonna, that's not gonna be effective because nothing's happening that one, they're not ready doing themselves, and it's not really motivating for them. Whereas if I have somebody who has like a huge sweet tooth and every day, you know, they like their little sweet treats, they unwind from work by like, you know, having a glass of Coke, or, you know, they have cookies and milk, or they have like ice cream or something really regularly, it would actually be a really big punishment to like take that away from them and say like no sweets at all for a week, right? So tailor it to the specific person that you're playing with, do it with consent, and ideally, if you can, if it's the kind of thing where you can do this, try to also connect it to whatever the thing was that they like did wrong, right? So really good example of this is maybe you have a rule, they're not allowed to swear or use certain words or like talk back to or roll their eyes or something like that. And if they do one of those things, you wash their mouth out with soap, right? You do the Christmas story, bar of soap in the mouth move, and to teach them, you know, that they're not allowed to speak to you that way. It's going to be more effective if you want to use a punishment as a reinforcement tool to have it be connected to the infraction, both in terms of what is happening and time. So a punishment is more effective the closer in time to the infraction that it happens. So, you know, sometimes with like long distance and travel and things, you can't always do things immediately, in which case, you know, having a protocol to remind the person before the punishment, this is why we're doing this, is good. But if you can, do it really quickly afterwards. Don't wait like months and months and months, because if it's been like 2 months and you're finally getting around to punishing the person because you should, because you're their dom, you don't really remember exactly what it is they even did wrong. Who's learning from that? Like, maybe that you should do punishments more quickly, but otherwise, like, that's just wasted effort, you know? So that's assuming we're talking about punishments in the same way. If what you mean is I want to have a sexy, fun scene where I spank somebody and I, do it in the idea of like, ooh, I'm punishing you because you've been naughty, that's a whole other different ball game, in which case, what's the best way to do that? Whatever way you negotiate with your partner, right? If you want to do a sexy, fun, not for realsies punishment scene where it's like, oh no, I'm sorry, I forgot to clean the chalkboard before I went home. Like, it's like one of those, like, okay, like, do your schoolroom punishment scene, be my guest, but it's not what I'm generally talking about. No swearing rules are brutal but very fun. Yeah, especially if you're used to swearing. If you're somebody who, like, every single time you stub a toe, you say, oh, fuck, like, it's rough. Like, it's rough. I don't actually know how that would be for me. I've never had any partners that have ever cared about that. Maybe that's just, like, I'm a West Coast heathen, and so, like, we don't have any respect for language out here, but I've never had to do that. Sometimes, like, I've had rules about, like, it's not about, like, not using certain language. It's like, you will address me as blah blah blah. Like, that's really common. But I've done a mouth soaping scene, like, it's been a long time, but I think like twice, and some people hate it. But you know what? If you're gonna do mouth soaping, try not to grit your teeth and then fight against the bar of soap, because having soap curls in between your teeth is fucking nasty and makes it worse. And also, accidentally swallowing on / choking little bits of soap is not the idea of the scene. So don't try to bite off chunks of the soap bar. You'll learn very quickly that is a bad idea, and you probably won't repeat it. But also, some people don't know what their own limits are, and they will make themselves violently ill on soap fighting the soap. So, use your own best judgment with that one. Is the music too loud? Is this stream? Oh, okay, the stream loop is, like, louder than normally is. Here, let me fix that. Okay, great. Language is vital to age play kink. That's correct. That is a true statement. I endorse that. Okay, I'm at the top of the chat here. I'm going to check and see if there's anything that's in the question box. By the way, if you want to have your question answered, I really recommend using the question box up here, because that is like the fast pass lane. This is like the super chats. That's like instant cut to the front of the line. Like, you just get to go immediately, all right? But if you use a little white Q&A box, that's the fast pass lane. So if you want to use that to get your question answered, that is the best way. That's the most bang for your buck. That's the most value for your effort. Thrills are soap-flavored gum. Oh, wait. Is that real? Oh my god, that gives me ideas. Oh my gosh. Thrill, it has a whole Wikipedia page. Thrills is a Canadian brand, fucking Canadians, is a Canadian brand of chewing gum. It was originally produced by the Opeachy company of... like Opeachy. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. They spelled it in the weirdest way possible. Company of London, Ontario, Canada, which was subsequently bought by Nestle in the late 1980s. It's purple. Ooh, I'm on board now. It's known for its purple color and distinctive flavor. Comparisons of its flavor to soap are so prevalent that recent packaging states it still tastes like soap. Thrills once came in a paper envelope or blister pack, but now comes in a cardboard package similar to a Chiclets box. It is now made in Spain for Tootsie Roll Industries. There are 10 pieces of gum in each package, and each package contains, you don't just know the dimensions of a package in centimeters. How do I obtain Thrills gum? How do I, without driving to Canada, how do I obtain Thrills gum? Oh my god, it's on Amazon. It's $47 on Amazon? Holy fuck. I'm sorry. Oh, because it's a 20 pack. Oh, because I'm buying 200 units of soap flavored gum. Oh my god. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Without spending $47 on gum, I would like to find, oh, is it rose water? Is it a rose water flavored gum? That would explain why people think it tastes like soap. According to the internet, it's not supposed to taste like soap, but it does have a rose water flavor to it, which makes people think it tastes like soap because it's like a vintagey kind of flavor. Oh, well, all right. Thank you all for this extremely unexpected recommendation. There's a place called candyfunhouse.com where I can buy Thrills gum for the much more reasonable price of $2.50, which is exactly how much I would want to spend on that kind of gum. So, will I make a video trying Thrills gum? I might. I don't know. Is it cilantro flavored? Now that, I do have the cilantro soap gene. So, you know, it might. Like, you know, maybe I should do a cilantro, it will not be the first time I have tortured myself on video for content. Doing a cilantro versus, maybe I can eat something with cilantro and then declare this is how I would do a scene. Like, okay, if I was being my own sadist, which sometimes I am, I would do a scene where I made myself a beautiful dinner and then I made fucking everything with cilantro in it. Like cilantro chutney, some kind of sandwich with cilantro on it, like just cilantro out on the list. And then I would eat the cilantro and it would be disgusting. And then to, freshen my breath after dinner, I would then have a piece of Thrills gum, to stimulate the salivary glands to prevent cavities. And then it would just be double soap. And then that would be how it would go. So maybe I will do that because, listen, my sadism is not always only directed towards others. I also know very well how to be mean to myself. So, I don't only throw you all under the bus. I also throw myself under the bus to myself and to my friends and partners who might be watching this, because sometimes they do, and sometimes the things that I say do in fact bite me in the butt later. So cilantro is I know some people, so in European cooking, the seeds do get used as like a dried herb, generally cilantro, or as a dried spice, but generally in American, and I think like generally like Pan-American cuisine, it's mostly used as a fresh herb rather than as a spice. If you're gonna make that distinction. Girl, I will mail you some in an envelope. Fucking paying $40 for Thrills. They're awful. They do taste like soap, and they're $3 from Bulk Barn. I'm here in Canada, first of all. I love the fact that it's called Bulk Barn. I do have a P.O. box, so I will pay the tariffs. If you go to my P.O. box, which is the name of the address of my P.O. box is in the description of all of my videos, I will pay the tariffs on getting Thrills gum. I would love to make that happen. Do I have an easy way to like copy and paste my like actual P.O. box address? I actually don't know if I have it. Let me see if I have it like somewhere like convenient. I don't think I have it in the description of this video, but I'm very excited about the idea of soap gum. I actually do want to do a comparison to like actual soap, but I think it depends on what kind of soap, because I grew up with like Dove bar soap, which is technically not soap. It is a synthetic detergent bar or a Syndent bar, which is legally not soap because it's not saponified oils, so it is different. Why the fuck am I coming up with why the like, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I coming up? My brain is committed to this idea. I am now going to do this. I am going to do a taste test comparison between cilantro, which tastes like soap, Thrills gum, a Dove soap bar, and then probably like Irish Spring or like something else that won't poison me to do for soap taste testing. Oh, I have such an interesting life. Okay, I have retrieved the address. I am copy and pasting it into the live chat. So if somebody from Canada would like to send me Thrills gum sometime this month, ideally, I will include it in a video. Or somebody who just happens to have some for some fucking reason. We need to do an edible stream. Okay, maybe for Patreon. I feel like I shouldn't do that on YouTube. Well, I'll think about it. I don't know what I would do. I don't know how I would do that. If I did an edible stream, what should I do during the edible stream? Anyways, I got distracted by fucking soap. So let's, they sell baking ingredients, dry goods, and candy by weight. Fantastic store. Captain Crunch, oops, it's all cilantro. Like, yeah, no kidding. All right, let's do questions bar. We're doing the questions bar. And I know we got one that was a super chat from Nathan earlier, so we're gonna do that one first. It says the chat was mine, just seeking advice at large about staying motivated in the face of setbacks in the community, dealing with burnout and frustration and all that. So if it's like the problem is like burnout and like not feeling good about something, okay, this is my own personal opinion. Other people might think differently about this. I think that it's important to not develop negative mental associations with kink if you want to have kink be a positive thing in your life. And in order to make that happen, that means like not forcing yourself when things really don't feel good. And I think it's about being able to feel the difference between like, I'm pushing myself a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I know that I'm still going to have a good time, versus this is painful, it sucks, I hate it, it's been painful for a while, it keeps sucking, and actually I'm in a negative state of mind, so even if things are good, I like can't really enjoy that in the moment because of how negative my brain is going into this experience. So I would say that in order to preserve future motivation, that might necessitate stepping back in the moment, because I think if things are already too negative, it takes a lot to turn that into a positive, and like almost nothing at all to have that keep being a negative. Like if let's say I had been going to a munch for like a couple of months and I was like new in town, it was like the only option, and like every single time I went it was like horrible, like the restaurant was awful, people were mean to me, I wasn't making friends, and I was just like really frustrated, like I wasn't getting the experience I wanted, and I was like dreading it, like I was about to like go to prison or like go to work in the office again for another like couple of hours. Like if I was dreading it like the way that you dread waking up on like Monday morning, I would say like that's not how you should feel about this experience. That sounds pretty negative. Let's take a step back for a little minute just so it's not so intense, and like work maybe on finding a positive outlet in like other areas of life. And then when things aren't so intense, and like coming back and then like trying different things, going to different groups, going to different events, like maybe try to change the environment that you're doing things in, or like the people that you're around where you're doing them. Because I think if it's like at some point, if it's like I'm going to these events and I like them but they're also really difficult, sometimes just like going to a different event or doing something in the routine that's not something you've tried before can help kind of like unstick things and make them a little bit easier. But yeah, that's gonna be fun to see. I do wonder if Dove chocolate and Dove soap are like related. I missed the thing about why it would be fun to see me on edibles. I have to like go and scroll down. I guess my issue is that is really hit or miss. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it really isn't. Maybe it's about finding something that's consistently okay. I mean, yeah, that's tough. That's really tough. I think it's like if something's hit or miss, for me, I would want something that's also consistently fun. Like just speaking of kink stuff, like there are scenes that I do that are like, I want to enjoy them, but they're pretty hit and miss in terms of how much I enjoy them. Like impact plays that way for me. Like it's really hit or miss. It depends on like my emotional state, depends on the partner I'm with, the environment. Like it's so up in the air about whether or not I'm really going to enjoy doing impact play that I oftentimes don't plan to do it that often. Like it's like I have to have consistent other fun things on my schedule that I know that I enjoy doing. Like bondage probably would be like a really good consistent example where like as long as I trust the person I'm playing with, like I almost always have a really fun time in bondage. So if I can have a consistent fun time doing that, I'm more willing to take the risk of doing something that I might not enjoy, because it's about like there's a concept that I'm like weaving into like some like classes and things that I've been working on, where I talk about like the zone of tolerance or like the window of tolerance. And if you're having like consistent negative experiences, that's eating into your piggy bank. That's eating into your window of tolerance. And you can only like endure so much of that before your window of tolerance becomes really narrow. And even if it's only like negative, like 50 to 60% of the time, like if the consistent good stuff isn't good enough, it's not like building that balance in your account up. And if you don't have enough balance, then you're going to go into the red, right? You're going to go negative. And if things are, even if you do have occasional fun times, like it's like you're taking $10 out and then only putting $5 back in. So having something consistently positive can help kind of buffer the things that are more occasionally positive, but not always. But it depends, right? If you have the option to do other things. And I think probably the biggest thing is maybe like redirecting attention away somewhere else until things kind of calm down. Like maybe give it a couple weeks, give it a month or something, take a step back. Unless something is like really pressing, right? Like if it's like, oh, but there's like this class I really want to go to or this event or something. Like if there's like a one-time only thing that you might miss out on otherwise, like definitely go for it. But yeah, it's hard. Also, sometimes it's out of my control. Went to a nice event, was meeting somebody there, but had to entertain myself because she was a new person and she met a new person and there were strong vibes. Yeah, that'll happen too. Where it's like, oh, I was having a fun time and now I'm not, or I'm waiting on somebody and I wasn't expecting to, and yeah, all that stuff. Oh, it always just stays in chatting and then nothing else happens with it. Yeah, and that's frustrating. Yeah, because then you're not really getting the experience. Well, I know that I say a lot in videos and in live streams that I'm giving advice that, like, you go to munches, you go to events to meet people, to network, to be a known quantity in the community, and that should help you meet people that turn into play partners eventually, but that doesn't always happen on the timeline that we wish it would, and it is still really hard to find compatible people often, and like it doesn't make that process any easier, even if it's like, well, that is how that happens. That reality doesn't change, but it doesn't mean that it like, it becomes easier, right? But yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry. Really needed some water. All right. Thank you so much for that question, Nathan. I see all the people. If you Mauve Girl and Leo, if you put test stuff in the question box, it worked. They're in there. Not to worry. It is weird that I don't think you guys can see. I answered the question for what is the best way to punish a naughty girl. Thank you, John. Do you have a speaking fee for speaking at events? But depends on the event, and if I'm traveling, if it's an event that I'm otherwise going to, that's one thing. If it's like flying me out to an event, That's something else. If you are interested in having me speak at one of your events, I would love to do that. I also teach. If you'd like me to teach at an event of yours, you can definitely message me about flying me out somewhere. I'd love to do that. And you can email me at my email address. I will also put that in the chat as well. This is my business email address. Please, if you send me anything else that's not business related, I will just block you, and then I will never see any of your messages, and it'll suck. This is just for business inquiries. If you would like to have me speak somewhere or teach or do a sponsorship or something like that. But it depends on what exactly the nature of the speaking is, whether it's like, doing a fully prepared teaching thing, if there's tickets, give me the details and I can give you an answer is essentially the long and the short of it. Mauve Girl. One kink I don't remember you talking about. I'm sorry, that was like the mouth noise. About sight was not about the question. It was just like sometimes I make mouth noises. One thing I don't remember ever hearing you talk about is size play. My potential partner is into gentle giantess, and it seems like the best experience would be hypnosis based. Looking for resources. Oh, interesting. Definitely because this is not my world at all. I don't play with this. If somebody knows more, please correct me. Size play kinks. I mean, there are ways you can play with that, in the flesh, in real life. Certainly, I play a lot with size differences with partners. That's I wouldn't say it's a kink of mine by any means, but it just happens that I have partners who oftentimes are quite a lot taller and quite a lot larger than I am. So there is sort of a role playing with size difference thing that'll happen. So you can't play with that in real life, but oftentimes if it's what you're talking about, where it's much more extreme of I think what generally gets called macrophilia or microphilia. Again, this is from my memory of Tumblr stuff I've seen, where it is things Amazon women and giantesses. I've actually met somebody in real life who's into this, by the way. This is definitely a kink that exists in the world. It is a thing, and usually for that, it's edited images, text role play, definitely hypnosis. If you specifically want information about hypnosis, do I have a book about hypnosis? I don't think I have anything that's a print book. Do I have anything that talks about hypnosis? I don't think so. I don't have any books on my shelves currently to show you all, so I would just give a verbal recommendation for a book. Mark Wiseman, who has been on my YouTube channel. So the thing is, hypnosis... Okay, maybe this is important to caveat this before I actually share this information. So, one, books by Mark Wiseman. I've had him on the channel before. Go look it up. He has a couple of books both on how to do hypnosis and scripts and things like that. Two, hypnosis information is really difficult to find on the internet, especially related to kink. I don't fully understand why, but it's one of the most censored things across femdom platforms, porn platforms, even places like FetLife. I know people that run in-person hypnosis groups where you wouldn't even know that that's what they are, because on FetLife they call them swirly enthusiast meetups or things like that, where it's very coded, because it's so common that hypnosis gets censored. I know that there are large conventions around hypnosis, and I don't know why it's so heavily censored, because most people don't believe that hypnosis is real. So it's are they saying it's dangerous? If it doesn't work and it's not real, why is it dangerous? I don't understand. But it is really, really hard to find educational, adult, kink hypnosis information. I think you might be able to find some stuff that can overlap from hypnotherapy resources, potentially. But the main one that I know of for kink is Mark Wiseman. I interviewed him on the channel. There's a really, 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 really old interview that's probably 6-7 years old, at least at this point, probably older, where I talked to him and we talk about erotic hypnosis. I would look that up. I know that there's some other people on YouTube that have made kink videos about erotic hypnosis. I know we have some people in the chat that know quite a bit about erotic hypnosis, but that would be my main way of suggesting you do kinks like that, depending on how much they want to play with it, right? If they have a very, very specific image of how they want the size difference to look and feel, then hypnosis is going to be the way to do that. If they want the feeling of playing with something like that, then like, you know, trampling play, face sitting, thing like, you know, doing sort of what's that? The one where the guy gets like tied up on the beach. It's like Gulliver's Travels. What the fuck is that called? Something like that, right? The old children's story. Like something like that, where, you know, maybe you're like tying him up and oh, that's actually reversed, because actually isn't he really big in that, and like the other people are really small? So I guess actually maybe that part wouldn't work, but I think like trampling and stepping and stuff in general can be part of that. Also, like if they're into like, you know, play involving penetration, like stuff involving like really big strap-ons, whether that's like, you know, cock worship, strap-on worship, oral training, pegging, things like that might also work. But obviously if you're doing anything involving penetration and like large objects, that's a pretty involved like committed thing to be doing. Yeah. There are some laws in some places about media restricting portrayal of hypnosis. It's probably related. Oh, that could be it. That could be it. Yeah. I just pictured a kink of somebody being dunked in a toilet. I'm sure someone's into it. Oh, there are definitely people, especially people that are into like bully roleplay stuff and like water torture things. There are people that are into swirlies. Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe something in r/Gone Wild Audio. Honestly, if you're gonna look for stuff on Reddit, just look for people that are specifically into hypnosis. Without looking, I can tell you right now that if I went to Reddit, I can find like role play stuff for hypnosis. Actually, I'm gonna even prove that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go to Reddit and I'm gonna look for hypnosis, and I'm gonna tell you what I find. I'm googling it. I'm finding hypnosis. Let's see, communities. There is an r/hypnosis that has 70,000 members. There's a 4,000 member custom hypnophile subreddit. Oh wait, actually, okay, there is specifically r/erotic hypnosis has over 200,000 members. So there is hypnosis subreddit. There's like all kinds of them. There's one specifically for furries. There's one that's specifically called Hypno Lovers. That is about like people within, I think, the kink community, it looks like. Point being, there are so many fucking hypnosis subreddits. So apparently that could be a good resource. So I don't know. I can't speak to the quality of any of those subreddits, if they're good, if they have safe information. I don't know. But, you know, that could be a good resource as well for hypnosis. I think r/erotic hypnosis, r/girls controlled, r/mind controlled stories. Oh, Gulliver's Travels, yeah. The Lilliputans were tiny. Oh, is that where the name for the like Final Fantasy race comes from? From like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles? Because there's like Littlins or something, I think. Is that why they're named that? I've just put that together. Cute if true. But good question. Hopefully that helped. As I said, we definitely got people in the chat that know a thing or two about hypnosis more than I do. Hopefully that steers you in the right direction. All right, see you, Lexi. Rest up. Feel good. All right, everyone apparently remembers Gulliver's Travels. Oddly, bondage seems to be more like a dark, intense form of cuddling in its a partner form, but gets culturally misrepresented. You and your partner should find it warm regardless of context. I mean, I don't like making any kind of definitive statements about how bondage should feel. Like, there is absolutely bondage that is like torture, struggle, suffering bondage. There are a lot of people who specifically like get into bondage because they like especially back in the day when we had a lot of like comics and magazines for porn and for bondage porn. A lot of it was about like, you know, tied up princess struggling in her restraints and, you know, needing to be released and, ow, these are hurting me, it's too tight, and that kind of deal. And that absolutely is about suffering and, like, you know, she's like trapped in a tower and blah, blah, blah. But it's whatever you want it to be. It can be warm, it can be cuddly, it can be cold and distant, it can be struggling, it can be suffering, it can be so many different things. And that is why kink is so awesome, is because you get to do it the way that you want to do it. Also, I vaguely remember in Transmit UK having a lot of hypno videos, including inductions and results. Oh, maybe. Actually, I just saw something on... It was a screenshot from Reddit about somebody in the UK getting arrested under, like, an obscenity law because of some, like, transformation, like, fantasy stories they had written. And I was thinking about doing a video about it because I was like, oh, this is like, you know, people talk about like, oh my god, fascism in America, it's happening. But it's like, when it comes to censorship laws, like, oftentimes, like, Europe and the UK and even Australia is like way ahead of America on that, because they don't have like free speech enshrined in law or in a constitution. So when it comes to making certain things illegal online or talking about certain things or writing certain types of stories, they can much more easily outlaw that than they would in the US. So that's scary for people in the UK. I don't know, like, they said it wasn't anything that they thought might be illegal, like it didn't involve like minors or like non-consenting parties, but it was like horror stories, which is like, really, like, horror fantasy novels, like, we're gonna ban like Stephen King now, like, it just make my eyes roll in the back of my head. Yeah, stress position play is definitely not about being cozy. Yeah, exactly. If you're doing like a shrimp pose, like, even like if we're talking about like what's traditional in bondage, right? Like if you go to like the forebears of shibari, like what things were inspired by, or just in general, like, you know, what people do for shibari even now, a lot of it involves stress positions and torture, and things were not designed to be comfortable. But I think if what we're trying to say is that you should feel comfortable with your partner when you're doing these kinds of scenes, like you should have a rapport when you're playing with somebody, like, yeah, okay, sure. Like, you should be able to talk to the person, you should feel safe saying no, you should feel safe setting boundaries. And if you don't feel safe setting boundaries, you feel like you have to compromise on your needs in a scene in order to be with somebody, that's a red flag, and you should maybe check in about that. And, like, you know, should you really be playing with somebody that you can't say no to, or that you feel like you have to sugarcoat the truth around because, you know, they might fly off the handle if you tell them how you really feel, right? So if anyone's curious to how long I've had a hypno kink, I've been in the game long enough to remember Mind Mistress. I don't know what that is, but maybe old heads in the hypno community know what's up, and it's like, damn, you remember that? You're old. Like, Sleeping Girl's also on Blue Sky, I think. Apparently, there's a lot of hypno stuff out there, but yeah, it's rough. To be fair, the UK doesn't have a written constitution. I mean, yeah, I'm aware of that. Yeah, they have a hodgepodge of like a bunch of other things and like old ass shit. So they've got to really cobble together. Parliament is supreme. No present parliament can bind a future parliament. All present acts of parliament automatically overrules a past one. That's seems like a crazy way to govern, like in terms of having any kind of legal consistency in which to like make long-term decisions on, but I guess it's worked for them so far, so it's fine. Okay, all right, I think that about answers the hypno question. Again, if you want to make sure to answer your question, you can go to the Q&A up there. You can also use a super chat, and I will read it and I will say it right away. Otherwise, I try my best to go in the order of the chat. I'm going to go up to the top of the chat here. And currently what I can see is cilantro a spice? So, yeah. Bulkborn sounds like pure Saskatchewan. It does seem like that's the kind of thing I would expect to happen in like Saskatchewan or Manitoba. That's a very Manitoban kind of thing. Australia just banned under 16s from using YouTube. It's such bullshit. I'm definitely not under 16. I just think it's completely stupid. Oh, really? I'm surprised I hadn't heard that. But I guess I'm not in Australia, and I'm also not under 16, so it doesn't really affect me. I don't know how they plan on enforcing that exactly. Like, okay, your brother logs into the family iPad and he's 17, and then like he doesn't log out of his YouTube account, so you just like use the 17-year-old's YouTube account. Like, that just seems like it's all feel good. Nothing is actually gonna be different because of that, or it just makes some things a little bit harder. But like, kids want to be on the internet. They're going to be on there. You're not going to stop them. But also, like, the kids are already moving to TikTok and, like, other platforms anyways. So, like, yeah, maybe it doesn't really matter as much. But yeah, it just seems, that just screams performative. Look, we care about the kids. We're doing something about mental health. No, we're not going to do anything else to actually make their life conditions better or, like, improve the environment or incentivize them to go outside. We're just going to ban them from YouTube. Like, it's like imagine you made cars illegal, but then you like didn't do anything to incentivize like more public transit beforehand. It's like, oh, so I just got to walk 5 miles to go to the grocery store. Cool. Like, you've made my life worse and nothing is better. Thanks. If you're using sadism on yourself, is it the same as masochism? I would say that this meets the clear definition of what we would call sadomasochism. I think that is why we have the word sadomasochism. What did I walk into? I don't know. Me torturing myself, probably. You're basically Odin right now. You're sacrificing yourself to yourself, but on soap, not Yggdrasil. Yes, exactly. Exactly. I didn't know that about Dove soap. It's the only soap I can use for sensitive skin. It doesn't mean that it's bad. It just doesn't legally meet the requirement of what is soap. Like, it's clean. It's fine. Okay, so earlier in the stream, I informed people that Dove bars are not actual legal soap. They are synthetic detergent bars, Syndent bars. They got very popular in like the middle of the last century. They're not legally soap because they're not saponified oils. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're different. Like, you don't use bar soap on your hair, right? Like, you use like, sulfates, right? You use other types of cleansers. You don't use like, well, some people, really short hair people, might use like a Dr. Bronner's as like their shampoo, but generally you don't, right? So it's fine. Dove bars are fine. They're just technically not soap, which I think is really funny. But it's like weird that it's like how some like there's like a legal definition for like champagne or like whiskey. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean that it's like not alcohol. It just means that it's not like, Kentucky bourbon or like whatever, right? Am I going to download the new Animal Crossing update? I did know that there was a new Animal Crossing update. I am fully deep into playing Expedition 33 right now. I think I'm getting close to the end. I just wrapped up all the DLC content. I'm not at max level yet. I'm like level 90 or 91, I think. So I still have like 10 levels to go before I'm max level. And I have one big story area left to do, and then I'm assuming I have endgame content to do. There's like a endless tower thingy I haven't touched like at all. So I'm fully locked in on Expedition 33. I would love to go back and play more Animal Crossing. Maybe we'll play some Animal Crossing as like a in between, one big video game and another, but then I have to figure out how to like set up my current Switch like to this computer, and I haven't tried that recently, so I don't know how that's gonna work, but potentially I might. I do really like the Animal Crossing game still. I just don't ever like, if I'm playing a video game, I'm playing Expedition 33, and if I'm somewhere where like I'm out and about, I'm pretty much reading a like physical book. So the niche areas where you might play something on a Switch, I'm not generally doing as much. But some people do actually make like soap bar detergent bars for hair. Like there are like, packaging free bar soaps that people make. That does exist. That is the thing that interests you. I've never tried them. I think my hair would hate them. Yeah, I don't know if the Dove company that makes soap also makes the chocolate. That would be weird if they did. I'm assuming that's just one of those like, oh, it's like a different enough market segment to where you can just have the same name and it's fine. Are you talking about something similar to the Losada ratio, that 2 negative experiences must be balanced by 6 to 7 positives? I've never heard of this before, but I'm intrigued by this idea, and now I'm Googling it. No, not tostada ratio. Jesus Christ, Google. I'm not Googling tostada. Critical positivity ratio. I've never heard of this before. Okay, I'm not saying that I like had a similar enough idea to where like I invented this term and they just cut up to me. But like just intuitively, I think as human beings, like we hang on to negatives more than positives, and so if you want to have a positive outlook on life, you need to have more positives than negatives, like in general. It needs to be, I was thinking maybe like a 3-to-1 ratio. But apparently, it's a largely discredited concept. So this is important to read. It's a largely discredited concept in positive psychology, positing an exact ratio. That's probably why it's discredited, of positive to negative emotions, which distinguishes flourishing people from languishing people. Oh, that sounds... I don't mean that at all. As reported in a 2005 paper in American Psychologist, this concept of critical positivity ratio was widely embraced by academic psychologists and the lay public. Fredrickson and Losada's paper has been cited more than 320 times as of January 2014. And it was critically reevaluated, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if there's anything in it that, like... if there's any sort of like updates or anything of that, but interesting idea. Seems to be discredited apparently. That's maybe good. I don't think that they're like, human brains are weird, and like some people are like more risk tolerant, some people are more resilient. Like individual psychology I think varies too much when it comes to like, I came up with a perfect ratio that describes people that are functioning versus people that are not functioning. Like that is way too specific. That's way too specific. Yeah, it's too much. Evie took us to Candyland and we saw the pink otters in Expedition 33. I mean, it's pretty good. Like, the Candyland zone is fucking lit. I wish they did more with the giant flying gray whale or sperm whale, whatever it is that's outside of the casino. I love all of the pink animals. There's lots of cute little pink animals everywhere. I could do with way more of those. If I was painting a universe for myself, there would be way more cute, harmless animals. I would probably have every creature on Earth in its exact perfect environment, and I would make them all friendly. All of them friendly tigers, friendly, non-predating tigers, and bears, and sharks, and whale sharks, and everything. I don't remember what brought up the soap talk. It just happens. We just decided that we were going to discuss soap. I think actually what I was doing is I was giving an example of punishments, and then I talked about like soaping somebody's mouth out, and then I went off on a whole thing about different types of soap and soap candy, and somebody brought up a soap gum, and apparently it's rose water flavored. The two doves are apparently different. Soap is by Unilever, while chocolate is by Mars Inc., unless they're both held by the same holding company. I mean, the Unilever Mars Inc. Fucking merger could happen any day now. We are progressively leading to one company owning everything, so who knows? If Dr. Squatch wasn't the most mass-coded soap ever, I'm including Old Spice, I might consider it. It's like, squash is like, Squatch, I think, is what you see if you go to Amazon during Christmas time and you go like, gift ideas for him, and it's like whiskey stones, beer cozy, Squatch soap, deodorants, some kind of knife thing probably, a multi-tool, an outdoor cheese cutter. Like, that's all the gifts for men, because all men are outdoorsy and like whiskey and like food and booze, I guess. But apparently a lot of the men folk do wait until Christmas to buy any of their soaps and deodorant because they know that for Christmas they are going to get soaps and deodorant. And they get stocked up for the whole year that way, which I think is crazy. Now, I mostly date mask people who like to smell soap, and they like to go to the store and figure out their own soap that they personally like. But, you know, that's my dating experience. I'm a Lush girly, unless it's bath rather than shower, then it's Dr. Teal's. I wish I liked Lush more. I'm like kind of a Lush hater. Mostly because they're like weirdly anti-preservative, which means that sometimes their like products get moldy, and I think that that's like bad. I don't like that. I like people not poisoning themselves or getting mold contamination in their products more than, you know, it's better because it has no preservatives. Like anything that fear is about, like, you know, we're better because we don't preserve the things that we make. Just pisses me off. Outdoor cheese cutter. Well, you gotta have a cheese cutter for camping. How are you gonna camp if you can't, like, slice cheese to put on your kielbasa sausage or whatever? I don't know what people put. What meat do people put on cheese when camping? I don't know. Fucking grilled cheese, maybe. You know what is really good that people should make more with camping is flame grilled tofu. That shit fucking slaps. That's awesome. I love the name of Men Sense. I do. I love the, like, Storm, Panther, Darkwood, Thornhill. Like, just, like, the most, like, tiger, like, fucking Tiger Castle, Lion Spear. Like, it's just... masculinity is, in the modern age, is quite the thing. Have you moved at all this entire stream, little dog? Is the stream camera frozen? Okay, I saw you blink at me. I don't know if people can see her blinking on camera. Uh-oh, little chin just moved. Did we see a chin move? Uh-oh, head just moved. Okay. The camera froze earlier when I was testing out stream stuff, so I had to make sure it wasn't actually frozen. Because sometimes we're just snuggled. Sometimes we're just all snuggled up. Sometimes we're just chilling. Even an Old Spice girl can still slam her body down and wind it all around. I am also a proponent of being a femme person who wears masculine fragrances. I love a good woody spicy perfume. I love, like, and I'm talking like not vanilla with cinnamon in it. I'm talking like every fucking note of the fragrance is like cedar wood, like, black pepper, like allspice, all wood, no sweet. And I think anyone should be able to wear Old Spice if they want. I do not wear Old Spice, but sometimes I do. Sometimes if it's the only option and I have to get new deodorant, I will get it. I got into the homemade soap. The stuff just lasts forever. Just have a bit of mint in it. Oh yeah, like homemade soap. Like there's so many people on Etsy who make like homemade soaps, or even just like a local farmer's market. There's always somebody selling homemade bar soap, liquid soaps, like deodorant. Like homemade deodorant stuff can be pretty testy. Like if you need that, you should just buy the stuff from an actual manufacturer, not somebody's kitchen. But it is nice. It's better because you gotta buy it more often? Yeah, something like that, maybe. They're like kids trying to come up with scary D&D names. That is essentially it. That's correct. Alright. Okay, let me see if there's any questions right now where I'm at in the chat, and then we'll go to, again, if you want to make sure to answer your question, you can use a super chat. If you want to make sure your question gets preserved as well, you can go and put it into the white section up there. It's a little weird. I promise if you use the feature, it ends up in there. Unfortunately, apparently, you can't see that it's in there, but I can see that it's in there. I guess actually I don't know. I actually don't know if it works, because if it doesn't, then it wouldn't end up in there, and then I can't see where it goes instead. So, you know, maybe I'll hedge my bets on saying it. It seems like it works, is what I will say. Everyone who said, like, test, want to see if this works, I've seen, like, 4 of those, so it seems like it's working. Oh, speaking of the formation of these kinks and early in life, Gulliver's Travel is their origin for this. Oh, I was right. And yeah, they're into gentle, so the stomping stuff isn't there. Okay, so like, they want to be like softly like caressed by a giant. Can you do a thing where you like swaddle them lovingly in a giant blanket? Would that work? Could you like make your wingspan really big and like a big soft blanket and like hug them? Like be like Esquier from Expedition 33. Just be a giant cuddly guy. And wrap them up and tell them sweet things and like, you know, that's cute. I like that a lot actually, like gentle giantess, like not like stomp destroying the town, but like nice and sweet. That's actually really cute. I like that. Is there any stereotype or assumption about a certain kink that irks you? I know for me, it's when someone insinuates that foot worship is inherently a submissive act. I'm gonna switch to myself. Oh, any like one thing that like really irks me for people making assumptions about a kink? Like what is, I mean, there's like plenty of things because like so many things get stereotyped. But Basita moved. We've had movement. Oh my goodness. What bothers me the most? Or like irks me? I mean, I think probably the most obvious thing that irks me continually is I really don't like it when people make, well, okay, this actually is it. My number one irk is people tying gender to kink roles in a really fixed way. Like individually for you, fine. Okay, if you're like my femininity and my submission are like mismatched together, like sure, why not? Like masculinity, femininity, those things can inform what you do in kink, how you feel when you're doing them. Totally fine. If you're making blanket statements about like, especially, you know, oh, like submissives are feminine and like women are submissive and it's because patriarchal culture tells them to be submissive. Like like that really bothers me. I think kink should be for everybody. I know all different people all across the gender spectrum, whether they're cis, trans, agender, non-binary, gender flux, gender fluid, whatever, pick a thing. Everyone, any side of the slash, any combination, switches, doms, subs, littles, you name it. Any different combination, I know people that do that. So there's not one thing connected to gender and a kink role. Talking about it that way is silly. It's antiquated. I don't like it. As far as a specific kink, because that's like pretty general. Like, I think probably seeing CNC as like a negative thing. This is actually like sort of the thesis of my class about CNC is CNC is not doing things that suck because they make you suffer and you don't like it. CNC, to me, like if there's any one thing that connects the entire umbrella of things that can happen under CNC, it's not about emotional suffering and feeling really terrible in the moment. It's about doing things despite what you would choose to do for yourself of your own free will. And that can include doing things that are good for you that you feel good about afterwards. Like, maybe you know that you should go outside more, you should touch grass, and you should like go for a walk. And your partner tells you, like you're talking to them, and they say, you know what, for your lunch break today, you're not going to video call me, you're going to go on a walk. And you're like, I'm going to go on a walk? I don't want to go on a walk. And you maybe don't want to do it, but like, is walking outside in the sunshine, is that really going to be suffering? Like, not necessarily, but it's still CNC because you're being compelled to do something that you wouldn't otherwise do, that like is outside of your like free will. And you're choosing to go along with that. So that's like one of my pet peeves is like people, especially online, like people, like I saw some fucking tweet the other day that like pissed me off. That was like, somebody said that like CNC was like, people act like CNC is like the most advanced form of BDSM, but actually it's like a level 2 kink. I'm like, whoa, it is not. what are we talking about? And then I realized in the follow-up comments and responses that they just meant like rough sex. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna roll my eyes into the back of my head. So it can be a sex thing. It is not only a sex thing. If you are doing it in a relationship, regardless, actually, but if it is part of your relationship framework, it can absolutely go sideways. It can go really, really wrong. It can hurt you. It can hurt your partner. It can damage your relationship. It can fuck up your life. Like, you should be really careful with CNC. It is not a level 2 kink, whatever the fuck that means. That specifically pissed me off. So stereotypes about CNC would probably be the biggest thing. Just because it's so popular and the misconceptions are so embedded, and like, people, I think, don't really know how to talk about CNC. They simplify it too much to like make it digestible, and I think it's been so degraded of any nuance that it oversimplifies what's a really complicated and varied kink. All right, gonna go back over here to the chat and miss any follow-up stuff. I hated gender stereotypes in general, but especially in BDSM. Oh yeah, and it used to be a lot more common in kink, but now it's not so much of an issue. I don't really see it that often. Occasionally I see it, like I've taken classes from people recently where they're like, they're in a monogamous relationship. They're a cis woman, their partner's a cis man, and because, they're not part of the public community, they don't they teach, but they don't play at public events. They just play with their partner, they're exclusive. They talk about submission from their perspective to such a degree that they use she when talking about submissives or bottoms in general. And for, dominance, they say he, him, because their partner, their one dominant partner, who I think is also their spouse, is a man. So it still happens, but I think that's at least when it does happen now, I feel like it's caveated and I recognize that, this is a blind spot of mine, or other people aren't going to see it this way. I don't think that's really a sufficient excuse, especially if you're an educator. You should just know how to speak generally. Imagine this. Imagine you were, I don't know, you're in pre-med, right? And your professor is also a doctor. And then whenever they talked about doctors, they used he, him to always refer to doctors because, well, but when I was a practicing doctor, every doctor I knew was a man. We would not tolerate that. And we shouldn't, because we would be well, there are lots of doctors who are women, and there are people in your class right now who are not men who would like to become doctors. So by talking about it in a really gendered way, it seems less inclusion focused than you seem to think it is, even if you are acknowledging it up front. But that's also okay, you can recognize it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I think we should still move away from that personally. I don't mind making the Gorians mad. They can be mad. It's okay. I am making the Gorians mad. Well, I feel I've seen, at least on FetLife, what is it, Kajira Russ? I've seen the male equivalent of Kajira. I don't know if there's a female version of Master. I think that there probably is. But yeah, fuck gendered stereotypes. I don't give a fuck. I don't gotta be an open... Listen, I'm not the representative of all kink everywhere. I have my own little bubble. And in my bubble, I have rules about what I think is ethical and moral and right in terms of how we discuss kink and how we educate people about it. And those are my standards for it, personally. All right, y'all. See ya. Doggo has decided it's time for us to get up for AM run. Oh, have fun. That sounds nice. Hopefully you're surviving the weather over there. Okay, see you later. Generic and singular they was invented for this. Yes. And if people are well, it's not grammatical. Yes, it is. Do more research, please. You can enjoy the gore novels. Don't get me wrong. I have never read them. I don't have any opinions about them. I don't know if they're good or bad. My sense is they were written by a horny guy in the 80s and the 70s, so they're probably of varying quality. But it's about how seriously and literally do you take those ideas from those books, right? If you're inspired by them, If you like elements of them, great. As long as you realize that we exist in the modern age where anyone of any gender can be a dom, a sub, a switch, a whatever, that's what's important. You can have your own personal fantasies, your own things that you enjoy, your own role play. Go for it. But just don't, like, if that goes into, like, every woman who thinks that she's a dominant really isn't, and she just needs a really strong super alpha guy to, like, take her down, and she's, like, begging to be taken. Like, please, fucking, oh my god. Like, I would love, there are some femdoms that I know, y'all, where I would love to see any dominant man, one, try to be better at them than any skill. Like, whether it's whips or rope or managing their own fucking business, like, they mop the floor with dominant men because they have to be, because they have to have a higher level of skill to be seen as dominant compared to cis men, because cis men are just given the benefit of the doubt of, like, oh, well, you're a man, so you're probably, like, pretty dominant, right? And they can just be seen, like, holding a fucking flogger, and people would be like, oh yeah, that's, like, you know what you're doing. Sometimes, it always depends on a lot of things, but, like, you know, it's a lot easier for a cis man to be read as dominant and treated as a dominant socially in a community than it is for women. So the gore novels gave us the Houseplants of Gore parody, so it was certainly worth it. I don't know what that is, but that sounds amazing. I can already picture it in my head. Club Edges tomorrow night. I turned down being practice bottom because I want to play the tasting booths. Should I do a story next week? If you want to, yeah, you definitely can. Planning on visiting the East Coast anytime soon. Don't have any immediate plans on visiting the East Coast. There's a possibility I may go out there sometime this summer. If you would like to see me go out to an event in your area, you can suggest that your local educational venue have me out to teach a class, or if you have a local convention in the Northeast that you think I should go to, or just the East Coast in general. It doesn't have to be the Northeast. It could be like the Carolinas, whatever. If you would like to have me teach at a venue there or go to big conventions in that area, let me know about it. Invite me, email people that are, you know, education coordinators and say, hey, I think we should have this person here. They're great. And then maybe we can make it happen. But no plans. East Coast is very far away. I have an elderly dog. If I'm going somewhere, I try to bring her with me. And I can only really do, like, one long haul flight a year. Like, it really takes it out of me to do, like, a 6-hour long flight. Just it's a lot. So I try to only do that, like, once a year, because it's a lot. It's because especially going by myself, it's tough. It's kind of like the Omegaverse. You can take it literally for the fun if you want, but no matter what, we're not living in that world, so it's up to interpretation in this world. Actually, that is funny. Do people from Omegaverse, like, are there people who think that they can recreate Omegaverse in real life? Like, are there Omegaverse truthers out there? Probably at least one. Omegaverse, I do not personally engage in. I know of it, but I mean, it does say something. I think that there's, like, one group whose, like, interests are based on a novel, and they're like, actually, this is reality, and this is the nature of the universe, and this is the order of men and women in proper society, versus the other group of people that are mostly like, I don't know, it's kind of fun, and I like fan fiction. Like, or, like, just way more normal about it. Would first class help? Yes. First class helps with a lot of things. But it would help, but it would make it totally better. Because I just don't really like flying in general. I don't like flying. I don't like being on planes. Traveling is just hard. What would actually help more than being in first class is, like, bringing my dog. I think that would help more if I could bring Bandit. But it's expensive. And then they can't, like, it messes with carry-on stuff. It's a whole thing. So if I could bring my dog more easily, that would be it. But it's like $250, I think, and without paying for the carrier and other stuff to like travel with the dog, and it's a lot. How do they explain the lack of MPreg IRL? You know, delusion's a very powerful thing. Delusion's a powerful, powerful thing. I think at some point they might just go like, that might loop back around into like transvestigating people. I'd be like, actually, that's not like that like woman who gave birth is really a man. Like Macron's wife, right? Like being like, actually she had like surrogates or like whatever, like that kind of thing. It's amazing how oftentimes conspiracy theories end up devolving into transvestigations. Yeah, maybe they're just not trying hard enough. You know what? That's a good point. I gotta keep trying. You never know. You might beat the odds. It might happen. What if we rented you an RV and did a cross-country road trip? I have a partner that really likes cross-country road trips, and I mean, I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch, but at some point, hopefully in the next year, it'll be a lot more possible for us to do like road trip stuff together, where like I get to travel around and like teach and do stuff and work out of essentially like a very convoluted, not literally an RV, but like essentially a souped up like truck that's been turned into a camper. So like with like hot water and everything. So like, not saying anything's going to happen immediately, but I would say I would like to sometime in the next year possibly go more in that direction to where I will be more mobile. That being said, going cross country, that still takes, if you're doing it in a reasonable amount of time, going from like Portland to Maryland probably takes like at least 4 days, minimum 4 days, probably 5 if you're not driving 13 hours consecutively. So it does still take a lot of time away. And then it's like, how do I stream? How do I, do normal stuff? I don't know. But yeah, an RV would be fun. Omegaverse is fascinating. I do love Omegaverse. Okay, 15-minute warning. If I've not answered your question yet, please put it in the chat right now. If you have already asked a question and I haven't gotten to it, feel free to ask again. Again, you can always use a super chat and I'll read your question out right away and I will get to it immediately. Otherwise, you can put it in the chat. I'm not going to promise I can get to it, but I will try my best. A reconfigured bus can help. I do know a couple of people, not buses, but ambulances. I know a couple of people that have converted ambulances into campers. But I'm not planning on doing that, but there are lots of options for it, surprisingly. No, I don't want, what the fuck is top chat? I don't want, show me the live chat, YouTube, please, thank you. Starlink connection, yeah, definitely. I don't know if there's a way. Is there a way to get a Starlink without supporting Elon Musk? That's like one of my big things is I don't want to give Elon Musk money. Cross-country kink road trip, stop in every state and get a butt plug. Like a state butt plug. Like shot glasses. How would I do that? First of all, it's a lot of butt plugs. 50 butt plugs? Would they all have to be different butt plugs? That's so many. Like, I'm trying to visualize a drawer with that many butt plugs in it. And it's so many. I would at least get a postcard or a sticker or something. I would try my best to get something in every state. Excuse me. Mobile dungeon happening when? LOL, bus to dungeon would be a massive conversion. I do know somebody that has a portable St. Andrew's cross and a suspension rig and like goes around in an RV. So like it's not impossible. It just has to be very dedicated. The answer to that is probably very minimalist furniture and being outside. Like having the equipment be outside of the vehicle. Because I think you could probably, if you were really smart, if you were like a really good carpenter or fabricator or something, you could probably figure out a way to make a convertible, like, spanking bench / outdoor seat. You could find a way to, like, make an awning that you could also use as, like, maybe not a suspension, but, like, a tie-off point for, like, you know, doing, like, wrists overhead. St. Andrew's Cross is, like, really stupid easy to make. It's a very simple structure, so that I could see you could easily just make, and, like, you know, as long as you could deconstruct it into enough pieces, you could make it into a piece of furniture. But, you know, the dungeon is where your heart is, you know what I mean? Dungeon's where your heart's at. You don't have to have any fancy furniture. Sometimes using a couple of trees is good enough. Dodge and Mercedes Sprinter van conversions are popular but pricey, and if you aren't tall, they can be comfortable. Yeah, I've seen people do, like, the van conversions. Actually, wasn't that one of the... You guys remember when we watched... What was it called? How to design... I think it was How to Build a Sex Room. And they did a lesbian couple that converted a Sprinter van. Or something, like some kind of van or something like that. And it was really cute. And they had like a whole, like a rooftop little, like, love nest thing. That was really adorable. I thought that was great. Sphincter van conversions. That's where you go to get all the butt plugs. Road trip with your pet. I'm a pet. It sounds fun. Exactly. We can do activities. Exactly. Like, I'm a pet. Bandita's a pet. We're all pets. Bandita loves a good road trip. She loves looking out the windows. So, both we and the Vatican don't want you to pump your own gas. A New Jersey commemorative butt plug. Well, they also have to be the Oregon commemorative butt plug, because they also don't let you pump your own gas here. At some places. There's some places you can do it now. The Florida man butt plug. Oh my fucking god, that's way too much. Way too much. Okay. My voice is like... I talked to the phone a bunch earlier today, and my voice is feeling it. I had a bunch of calls earlier. I don't know where I'd want to go specifically on it. Like, for kink stuff, I'm trying to think of, like, where would I mean, like, the Bay Area for sure. Probably Los Angeles, actually. I'd probably want to do the whole West Coast from Portland to Los Angeles. So I'd probably do, like, Portland, Bay Area, Los Angeles. And then where would I... Going east... Probably Las Vegas. What after that? Salt Lake City? I don't know. I don't really want to go to Salt Lake City again. Probably not Salt Lake City. Somewhere in Arizona, New Mexico, like somewhere like Tucson, Phoenix. I don't know where has a good kink scene. Anywhere near there. Obviously Texas. Definitely gotta go to Texas. Don't know where in Texas. Maybe Austin. Maybe Dallas. I think either one of those places has like a pretty good rope scene. But definitely Los Angeles I've never been to before. So I would like to road trip down to Los Angeles. I think how much you'd save on hotel fees being out of a camper. being in Los Angeles. Oh, thank you, Sean. All right. Okay. Let me see here. I look forward to hearing your story time next week. Let's see, where was I in the chat? Trying to see questions. Somehow still talking about soap. A very soap-focused chat today. Okay. I might not make it to exactly 2 hours. I'm going to try to answer a couple more questions. But I can't promise my voice is going to love me for that. I saw questions, but I don't even know what they mean, so I'm just skipping over that. Just skipping over that entirely. Answered that one already. Excuse me. All right. Okay, why is it blocking that part of the chat? I literally can't see the question. I can see like half of it. Okay, so I think what this says is I literally just think asexual people exist and how awesome we are that that's changing. I wanted to be able to talk to you about it. I do have a Patreon where you can do like one-on-one chats with me. It's like Evie Lupine 2 if you want to sign up for that, if you want to talk to me directly. We also have streams on Tuesdays where if you want to hang out with lots of other A-spec folk and general people in the kink community, we have like private streams on Patreon on Tuesdays where it's like really low-key. Sometimes we like go on really random tangents about McDonald's AI and Taco Bell commercials. It happens. Sometimes we watch asexual people. Actually, last week we watched a video about asexual people reacting to 50 Shades of Grey. And so I was an ace person having other ace people react to other ace people react to 50 Shades of Grey, which I thought was great. I thought that was perfect. I loved it. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the regular chat. Organ law sadly changed. You can self-service anywhere. The gas stations weren't allowed to fire attendants, and they have to have attendants. But the reality is, you're pumping on your own. Interesting. Okay. Okay. They're good sci-fi fantasy adventure stories. Oh, okay. I mean, I guess they are sort of like what's the term for that? Sword and sorcery novels, I think is the word. What's Omegaverse? Oh, Ren answered this. Fanfiction where humans are divided into 3 types: alpha, beta, and omega. With alphas going, I don't think it's alphas that go into heat. I think it's betas are like normies. I think omegas go into heat, alphas go into rut, and then they can alphas have this like insatiable need to like impregnate omegas or something like that. There's variations between fan fictions and like different types of Omegaverse, and like you have to research it more, but that's essentially what it is. I think it got popular because of Supernatural. I think it got popular from like the Supernatural fandom, but don't quote me on that. That's essentially what I know about Omegaverse. There's kind of an overlap between Omegaverse and kink. Like, there's definitely kinky people that are into Omegaverse, but there's not like in real life when you're playing with kink with people in scenes. Like, I don't know anyone who does like Omegaverse roleplay in their kink scenes. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It's just not like a commonly talked about thing. If Texas doesn't have kinky rodeo somewhere with lassoing subs, then the whole state will have to turn in their cowboy hats. That's a good point. I think you should, if you go to Texas or know a dungeon in Texas, you should tell them that they should have, instead of having a slave auction, they should have like a rodeo. And I think that would be fun, actually. We just need another ace person reacting to Eevee, reacting to ace people, reacting to 2 Shades Darker. I think that's what happens if somebody watches a replay of one of those live streams, if they're an ace person. Technically speaking, it does happen. Oh, and also One Direction. Oh my god. One Direction. One Directioners? One Direction shippers? Man, they are just something else. That is, wow. The things that people... taking a boy band and then doing that, it's so different from how I think about anything as an ace person. It's just like, well, that's your thing, isn't it? That's amazing. Strange Aeons made a crash course in Omegaverse video. It's pretty good. Oh, nice. Okay, good. Why is that book told in the third person? I don't know. Isn't that like pretty common for books having it? Second person is the thing that's like uncommon for adult books. Did they ever find out if autism exists at a 50% rate or more in the bondage scene like it is in the puppy scene? I've not seen any studies like that yet, but it doesn't mean that somebody isn't going to make one eventually. So I would hold out hope. I think it's entirely possible that that could happen at some point in the future. And it seems pretty likely that they're gonna get similar numbers. Like, if I had to pick, like, if you ask me, what kinks do you think are the most popular among people with autism or autistic people? What do you think those kinks are? And I would pick puppy play, bondage, what else would be popular? Like, those are like two dead obvious ones. What would the other ones be? Probably like high level, like protocol DS with like very clear directions. Like, these are the rules. We have outlined them. Now you will learn how to organize my forks. Like, that kind of stuff, right? That's what I imagine. I don't know what else. What would the other kinks be that would be popular? Maybe sensation play, but I feel like sensation play, like, people don't name that as a kink that they enjoy as a independent thing. Like, it's a thing that they like, but it's always an adjunct to other things. So if you ask them, they might say like wax play, but they wouldn't necessarily say like sensation play. No, I didn't answer it yet. I'm going to respond to you on FetLife after this stream is over. So I have not answered it there. Supernatural in One Direction. That's crazy. Omegaverse is one of the many sins that escape Tumblr. I don't know if I mean, sin in a loving way, I would say. Like, I don't think Omegaverse, I'm going to be very clear. I don't think Omegaverse is bad. I giggle about Omegaverse because, like, the fact that it grew out of like One Direction fanfiction, which is like a teeny bopper boy band, is so funny to me. Like, because it's such like it's such a specific kink, and like it's like fairly extreme, I would say. I mean, not that it's like violent, but just that, like, it's like it's got a lot of structure to it. It's got a lot of rules. And it seems totally opposite to like the nature of like having, like, if you look at like innocent puppy love crush on a member of a boy band, and then you're like aggressive, like forced mating rituals, you're like, the fuck? Like, they seem, it's totally it's totally out of sync, and that's what gets me. But I think Omegaverse is great. I love Omegaverse. I think it's brilliant. I love that people are experiencing that. It is something that's more or less had versions of it be part of the fanfiction world since the start of fanfiction. And it's definitely not just like male slash stuff. It also exists as like OC stuff. There's like independent novels about it. There's also some stuff that's like FF pairings or like two female pairings, and I think that's great. Yes, one of the many. What were the other Tumblr sins? The stuff I don't like is like this actually came from Instagram, but it perpetuated itself on Tumblr largely. Was age regression is like good, safe, and nice, and age play is bad, icky pedophilia. It was like the weirdest thing that probably ever happened on that website. It was like, wait, what? You do the same things, you buy things from the same places, you use the same terminology, but one of them is good and safe and for your trauma, and the other one is bad and gross and yucky, and it's bad because it's sometimes sexy for people. Can't make heads or tails of that at all. The teeny boppers wanted a way for their boys to be in a relationship and have babies. I guess that's true. When you say it like that, it sounds way more wholesome. It's like having your dolls play together. It's like, and now kiss. That's adorable. But with that being said, that's going to be, I think, the end of the stream for tonight, folks. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out with me on this Friday. We are back to our regular routine. I will not be streaming on the 23rd because I will be out of town. But after that, the 16th and the 30th and onwards, it's going to be regular stuff here, hopefully, because I don't necessarily want to be traveling. I am ready to be at home. But I will be doing something in a couple weeks. So I will be doing that. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Stay safe. Have a fun weekend. I'll talk to you all again very soon. Bye. Did that wake up the bandita? No, she's very sleepy girl. Oh,